Week 12, Pittsburgh Steelers coming to Soldier Field. It is another noon game. We've been on this run at noon games. CBS, J.J. Watt back on the call. Hey, that's his brother, T.J. Watt, playing in the same game. That'll be interesting. Bears favored by 2.5 points. The over-under a little bit lower this week, 45.5. Steelers 6-4. They've been a little heckle and jive. They did win last week, though, pretty comfortably against the reeling Cincinnati Bengals. Of course, Mike Tomlin, head coach, never had a losing season. You know that. Arthur Smith, the former Falcons head coach, is their OC. Terrell Austin, the DC. And the legend, Danny Smith, has been doing it forever, is their special teams coordinator. Quick look at the EPA per play. A lot of middle of the road here. Pittsburgh's defense and offense both ranking 16th in EPA per play. The Bears' defense is 17th. Look at that, still in green. That Bears offense, theoretically, 10th should be the best unit of those main four units in this football game. So keep that in mind. And we're going to talk about that Bears offense going up against the Pittsburgh defense first. Sometimes you get a little fortunate with when you play teams, and I find it interesting, another heavy blitz team here in the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Well, Bears coming off that game against the Vikings last week where they were blitzed at an insane rate from Brian Flores. This isn't going to be quite as exotic. And meanwhile, the Bears, they're already used to this. They have faced, they rank 5th in the most blitzes they've seen all season, and they have a really good EPA when they face the blitz. So credit to Caleb Williams and the offense for handling blitzes. So we got another team here coming in that blitzes a lot. Bears, used to it, should be able to handle it. Now, as I said last week, a good way to handle a blitz-heavy team is continue to run the football. If you're worried about the pass rush, if you can run the ball successfully, that's usually a good recipe. And that's where the Steelers are weak. They are 28th in the league in EPA per rush on defense. And specifically, and this fits the Bears, outside runs. They struggle against outside runs. We know this guy here, DeAndre Swift, prefers to go outside. The Bears running outside more than they do inside. They've had success. So from a matchup standpoint, the Steelers' weaknesses against the run do fit the Bears' strengths. That should be a good thing in this matchup. And otherwise, you know, as we're dealing with some of these blitzes and picking all this up, which a lot of that goes right here on the quarterback, we are going to be treated to an outstanding one-on-one matchup here between T.J. Watt and Darnell Wright. Now, you know, in most weeks we'd say take your top pass rusher, move him over here, maybe take advantage of Theo Benedict more. Now, he's still got his hand full with Nick Herbig. By the way, Nick Herbig, Keanu Benton, T.J. Watt, they're all Badgers. Remember when we were good? They're still good, but they're just on the Steelers now. But this right here should be fun. T.J. Watt going up against Darnell Wright, because Watt is one of these guys that pretty much just stays on the left side. He likes to play from the left side, so he's not going to move around a whole lot like you see in other games where they can move their top pass rusher around. So right here, Darnell Wright, now he is dealing with a pec. He seemed fine in the locker room yesterday, not terribly worried about it. That's going to be one of the better one-on-one matchups that you're going to see in football this week. And meanwhile, you know, it's an interesting Steelers defense because there's a lot of names you know. Jalen Ramsey, Kyle Duggar, Patrick Queen, right? I mentioned Watt, Cam Hayward, Darius Slay on the outside. There's just a lot of, this is like the all-name Steelers team, and you wonder why they haven't been better defensively. That's a big question they've been asking in Pittsburgh all season. Let's move to the other side of the ball. Pittsburgh's offense going up against the Bears D. Of course, the conversation about Aaron Rodgers, whether or not he will play with that left wrist injury, not his throwing hand. I drew this up differently this week because the Steelers are one of the few teams, they might actually be the only team, honestly, that run more 12 personnel than 11 personnel. So that's how I drew it up with 2 tight ends on the field. That is going to be interesting with the Bears linebacker situation. TJ Edwards is still dealing with his injury. Now we add Edmunds is dealing with a groin, and Noah Sewell, he's got an elbow. The depth there is questionable. DeMarco Jackson, Ruben Hippolyte. Who do you put out there if they're going 12 personnel against you? I have a feeling they'll just run nickel still with C.J. Gardner-Johnson. That's where C.J.'s versatility helps you because he's probably one of the few guys that you can almost just kind of play over here as more of a linebacker, match him up against the tight ends and still be okay. But how the Bears, with all these injuries and all this red they got going on and guys missing, how they match up against heavy 12 personnel, 2 tight ends on the field for the Steelers will be interesting this week, because they are dead last in running 11 personnel with 3 wide receivers on the field. Of course, this guy, Aaron Rodgers, pick your poison. He hasn't been playing that well if he is out there, but this does feel like one of those games where for Dennis Allen, do you blitz or not blitz? Do you try to heat him up? He gets rid of the ball really fast when you do that. Or, as we've seen a lot of old Bears-Packers matchups, you sort of sit back, let him beat you underneath, and then just hope that he doesn't give you the dagger deep, which he's done so many times against the Chicago Bears. At least it's not on the Packers anymore. We don't have to hear Wayne Larrabee calling, the dagger call on us. But hey, I want to see Rodgers. I think it's more fun that way. We'll see if the Bears can get the win over Aaron Rodgers. It's long overdue.